There was a lady that had, how do I word this? Multiple adult entertainment jobs at the same time. I've never been in a situation where I need to get out of my house in 3 days. That doesn't sound good. So keeping this number as low as possible. Now, it would have been a little lower had we done the smaller tile. We're not done. I see some touch-ups. I see a missing fire alarm. I don't see a carbon monoxide detector. There's some things we need to do. We're about to head over to Vail, but I thought I'd run some numbers by you guys really quick. We don't have a whiteboard, so we're gonna use a junk car. I hope you guys like it. When we do these fluff remodels, let's keep in mind they're a fluff. I put a $10,000 budget on them. That's kind of my go-to. We try to split up the remodel over a few separate years. So like in this situation, I think it was 3 years ago, we did carpet, countertops, hinges on the cabinets, just kind of some random stuff. We did doors, fluffed up the outside with new siding, new HVAC. This time we did bathrooms. My budget on bathrooms, I try to do both bathrooms for under 10K. So kind of some rough numbers. We have $3,500 in labor. So that is, in my opinion, a really good deal. In this situation, I've used one handyman. We have other projects going on, so I have other people elsewhere. And I had to pull Sam off of this project a couple of times to do other things. Sam does our sheetrock repair for the plumbing company. So anytime we cut a hole in a wall, we price it in for the customer. That way, they're not really dealing with a third-party vendor. They're dealing with us. It makes the process seamless. And Sam is very talented. He's a craftsman, so we appreciate that. The $3,500 in labor, keep in mind that there were a couple days that he worked on other projects, but for the simplicity of this, I wrote one check. I didn't divide it up and say, oh, you worked 18 hours on Vail and you worked 12 hours on whatever other property. I didn't do that. That gets complicated. We don't want to get stuck in the weeds. So with this, we've got about $3,800 in carpet. And this is labor. So $3,800 in carpet is pretty good deal. I use a vendor here locally that gives me a contractor pricing. That helps a lot. And I do a middle of the road carpet. The carpet that was in this place lasted 2.5 years, maybe 3 if I look at the dates. People are going to destroy it, but I don't want to have too cheap of a carpet that it looks bleh. So I call this builder grade. Most of the time when you buy, say, a $300,000 house, this is the carpet that the builder puts in it. It's good enough to last a couple years. And actually, I have this carpet in my house, but I have young kids. What do young kids do to carpet? I mean, there's Play-Doh stuck in my carpet at home. So keep in mind, you could do much better. You could do better on carpet, but for $3,800, I think this is a good value. And we'll show you here in just a minute. We have $3,800 in carpet. We've got about $3,000 in the bathroom furnishings. That is the floor pans for the shower. That's the tile, the grout, the everything. That's a touch high. But like I said, we did those large tiles. The vanity was $800. The countertop was $500. That stuff adds up really quick. So keeping this number as low as possible. Now, it would have been a little lower had we done the smaller tiles, but our labor would have been a little higher. So keep that in mind. It's all in relativity. We have a miscellaneous, let's call it $550 for blinds and etc. So quick math, we've got 5, so 8, 1. Guys, we are exactly $10,000. $10,000, 500, sorry, oops, 1050. So I call that a win. I was trying to spend 10,000, I spent 10,500. Now, once I pull receipts, we're about to do the walkthrough to make sure there's nothing else that is needed. Once we pull receipts, this might end up being 11,000. It might actually be 9,000. I'm just giving you guys the ballpark of this. If you keep to that $10,000 budget, rough math, it takes 10 months to get paid back on this property. I'm going to try to rent it for $1,250. So take $250 away, put that in a different account. 10,000 or 10 months to pay back $10,000. This bathroom's going to last 20 years. So that's a win. Let's not get stuck in the weeds. I don't like odd numbers. So doing this math with nice, even, round numbers makes my brain happy. So if you guys want to do something like this, if you have any questions, hit us in a message or a comment. We'll run through. I'll show you receipts. I don't mind. And another thing, keeping those receipts organized per project, labeling them. Every time we go to Home Depot or Lowe's, the invoice says, in this situation, it'll say 417. That way I can, when I go to pay those bills, everything jives, everything works out. Okay, I'm going to wash up and then we're gonna head to Vail. You guys will see the walkthrough the first time we do. Sam says he's done. Let's see how he did. We're at 417 today doing the hopefully final walkthrough. We're going to show you guys how we took a house that was already livable and we made it into something that I would want to live in. All we did this time was bathrooms and carpet because the previous tenant destroyed the carpet. We might throw some pictures in on the video. It was a mess. They trashed it. There was some drama there on a tenant that I should have never let live here. You know when you go with your gut and your gut tells you there's something here, but they check out on paper, your gut's always right. Follow that. But yeah, let's go see. Sam says we're ready for a walkthrough. You guys will see it the first time we do. Hey Sam, are you decent? So I like that this is all the leftover tile. So we're not wasting much. He has 2 boxes to return. I like that a lot. Typically, I would save this tile and use the same tile on the next remodel, but with this little waste, we will likely just put it up in the attic and keep it here. There's no reason for us to bring it back and store it at the shop. I do want to just rough in the ceiling, Sam. Just blend that stuff in. I don't even care if it gets painted.
I can get some more mud.
Okay, that's fine. Deal. Okay. So we've still got some tile work. That explains why there's 2 boxes out there. We've got some tile work to do here. Sam, what's the timeline on this?
Shouldn't take too long. I just got to get some adhesive.
Okay, good deal. Perfect. So adhesive, tile work, some paint work, and this bathroom will be ready. So is this a ready by Monday situation?
Oh, it should be.
Oh, perfect, good deal. We see that he started going over with the blue. This looks way better than that old yellow nasty stuff. So we told you guys a couple years ago we redid the countertops. This is epoxy. I took the old Formica countertops and we sanded them with actually a grinding disc. And we poured, there's 10 different colors of epoxy here. And then I coated it with a food grade top coat. So this is just Formica. So I have, of course, the countertops are from the 80s and I've got about $400 in the fluff of these. So, and honestly, they don't look too bad. I would have these in my house. Actually, I do have epoxy countertops in my house. Only thing, so my house is white epoxy and we noticed that there's some heat issues with the white. It turns a little creamy color over time. So that's one reason we did these in a darker color, which really with the white cabinets, this gives it some pop. We like it. So the carpet guys finished yesterday. This is the carpet I was telling you guys about. It's good quality carpet, but it's a good price. It's not the nicest carpet in the world, but for a rent house, what I've noticed is most of the people that I show these houses to, I had a grown man probably 4 years ago. He was in tears. And I said, man, what, like he was emotional, like not actually crying, but like you could tell. And I said, what's going on? Like trying to get to know him a little bit. And he said, I've never had carpet before. Like, you're 40 years old. I had no idea that most people don't ever have carpet. He had especially never had brand new carpet. That's a huge win. So let's check out this other bathroom. I'm gonna wet my feet really good. Do you want to go in first? I haven't seen it yet. Oh, that mirror looks perfect. Do you guys remember us going to get this mirror? Look at that. That's amazing. There was a couple hiccups on this wall. So if you look at how this is, nothing is square right here. This room's built on a triangle. So Sam had to notch the countertop to go into this wall. And then on the back side back here, he's going to put a piece of this 1x4 right here. That way all this stuff makes sense and that'll cover up that gap. This is the kind of things you encounter on a remodel. Had I designed this floor plan, we would not be a triangle bathroom situation. This is really weird. You can't always be the ones designing it. You just have to deal with what someone else has done. Sam has a couple more things to do in here. I see some caulking, the trim's still loose. Main thing is I can get pictures and get this listed. Even if I post this today, we're not gonna have a tenant move in until late next week. So one thing I like to do is post it before it's ready. That way it gives it time to, let's call it stew online. Typically when I post these places for rent, Monday morning, I'll have 80 or 90 applicants and then it's overwhelming, but then I get to sort through and I'm not gonna lie guys, I creep on your Facebook pages. If I post this on Marketplace and your Facebook page is with you with guns and money and drugs, why would I? Come on. That sounds like drama. That sounds like childish behavior. If you're going to apply for a job or a house or anything, clean up your look. Even if you are a turd like that and you like to post pictures with guns and money all over the place, maybe put that stuff to private. That way a random guy like me can't see it when you apply to live in my house. Because do I want someone that's flashing their guns living next to a single mom and an old lady? Like, no, that doesn't make sense. So clean your stuff up. Literally, I have seen that before. I have seen, there was a lady that had, how do I word this? Multiple adult entertainment jobs at the same time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I am saying is it doesn't look good on paper. So if you want to be an adult entertainer and there's pictures of you with your butt out and all this stuff, there's probably an apartment complex that's better suited for that type of behavior, not a tight-knit duplex situation. This row of duplexes, my average tenant has been here 20 years. I'm going to take care of them and not you. Let's be honest. They've been here, they've earned my respect, they've been awesome tenants. And if you come in and start causing problems, I put it in the lease. Drama equals eviction. Guys, I'm not gonna do drama. I'm not gonna have little old lady calling me and saying that there's fistfights in the front yard. It's not gonna happen. So be picky on who you use. One thing we did here, I buy name brand faucets. That is, we own the plumbing company. And plumbers do not like off-brand faucets. I buy the cheaper end of the name brand faucets because it's a rental. This bathroom faucet was, I think, $65. There are cheaper options on Amazon, but do they have a warranty? No. So we also go to Lock for most of our faucets. There is a difference between the Lock Delta and the Lowe's Delta. You'll notice if you ever take them apart, the internals are plastic on the Lowe's and they're copper on the Lock. Same brand, but different quality. And anyone can buy from Lock. You don't have to have a business account. You can go in there and say cash. They're going to charge you. It's going to be expensive, but you're going to have a better product. Ask a plumber. The water heaters that you buy, same brand, 2 different locations. There's a massive difference. So don't think you're just going to Amazon this stuff. It'll come back to bite you because I've been bitten. And then you come in on Sunday to show the house and there's water all over the floor because the Amazon faucet's leaking. What do? We used the original laboratory, but everything else here is new. We are going to take this light down and we will paint it black. That will help. And of course, we'll get the light bulbs all the same. But that being black plus the vent up here black, this is a dark color, black handles, that'll help tie everything together. And we'll have, what, $10 in fluffing that up and give this a whole new look. So we told you guys we did as large of a piece of tile as we could. Oh yeah, he's not done. Yeah. So typically you're noticing the shower. First off, the water shut off to the house. Secondly, a trick we do is if there's something that you need to come back to finish, we make it blatantly obvious that we're not done. So in this situation, he knows, I'm reading his mind a little bit. He knows he needs to get all this finished up. And since he's just got it mocked in, he made it obvious that it's not done. Now, had he spun it around, I can't by hand, had he spun it around to where it looked done, that might deceive him, and then he won't remember that he still needs to finish that. With these large tiles, we had a little bit of a problem. So we showed you guys the previous work, how this wall is it's shimmed out 1.5 inches for some reason. We don't really understand why. So we did 2 layers of sheetrock to bring it out. And oddly enough, this wall is bowed. So that caused us a little bit of drama on getting these large tiles to fit properly. And that's one thing we hadn't encountered before. Of course, Sam is a craftsman. He made it work. But it did cause a little bit of drama. It caused us some time. And then one thing that we do, I don't have Sam do the plumbing. We have our plumbers come in. A few years ago, I had the handyman do the plumbing, but like I said with that faucet, if a house is flooded at this stage, oh, that's a big deal. Especially with brand new carpet, with brand new flooring, like it's a big situation is what we'll call it. So I trust, of course, we have a plumbing company, so it doesn't really cost me much to have the plumbers come in and do the rough in. But I recommend spending money where it matters. Okay, one thing super cool about this house, this spiral staircase is awesome. It is a 1980s spiral staircase. This handrail is actually plastic, but it's really neat. I love this room up here. I wish I could list this as a bedroom, but there's no door and there's no closet. So legally, it doesn't have any privacy. We've already got people asking about this house. No one has come through with a deposit. So our goal today is to take a few pictures and get this thing on the market. That way, hopefully by the time it's ready on Monday, we're actually getting a tenant in here. Monday is the 26th, right? Sounds right? Anyway, getting toward the end of the month. So now is when I really hustle. That way I can get someone in here on the 1st. I'm always a little leery when someone says I can move in right now. That makes me think, okay, what kind of drama are you dealing with? I really like it when people say, hey, I'll go ahead and put my deposit down and I'm going to slowly move in over the next month. That gives them time to dissolve that other lease and get into this one. That shows some responsibility in my opinion. I've never been in a situation where I need to get out of my house in 3 days. That doesn't sound good. Up here, there's still a couple things that need done, but all in all, it's good enough to show. We'll get the housekeepers in here. They'll clean up. Like there's some dust and stuff. I mean, Sam made a huge mess downstairs. It's not surprising that some of it came up here. If you notice these little bits of carpet, I've told the carpet guys over the years, and luckily we've had the same installer, that, hey, leave your scraps because we use them as runners anywhere that we're walking a lot. We don't want to step on the good carpet if we don't have to. And that makes things nicer long-term, that we're not going to just destroy this place before a tenant even gets in here. So looks like Sam has a piece to put on here. I don't understand these older houses they're all multi-level. And even right here, there's a going up to the backyard. I don't understand. I would imagine it saved them some money on fill dirt maybe, but it just complicates things. You know, elderly people have a hard time with that 4-inch step. So I really have to watch who we allow in here. I don't want to discriminate against them, but I also don't want them to fall. So guys, this was not a full remodel. This was the definition of a fluff. We were looking to make this place better, and I think we succeeded at that. There was nothing crazy. There was no raccoon living above the wall. There was no floods. This was simple, and that's how I like it. All in all, simple is better. Don't overcomplicate things. If it's nice enough for you to live in, it's plenty nice enough for you to rent out. That is literally how I run my business. Do unto others as you want done to you. So if I would live here, I will gladly rent it out. Now, if it was a situation where I wouldn't want to live here and someone needs a place for a deal, then okay, we can talk. But I'll get premium dollar out of this. I'm looking for $1 a foot, and that brings us to $12.50, and I think we'll get it. So we'll take some pictures real quick, go ahead and get this place posted, and hopefully start doing some showings on Monday. So we had a question of, if I were to sell this property, what would I have done differently? And guys, there's not much. This house will pass inspection. It would sell. Of course, this is a row. There's 3 duplexes that are tied together here. So the sell would be very complicated. And don't tempt me, I might. I do love these houses. I'm trying to think, what would I have done differently if I were to sell this? I might have used some cheaper faucets. Maybe that would have saved $200 total. I might have used some discounted smaller tile instead of these big tile. I could have saved a little bit of money there. But then with using the smaller tile, we'd have a little more in labor, a little more in grout. So that's not quite a wash. I may have went down a tier in carpet. There is a carpet that's cheaper than this. It's less fibers per square. I might have done that. There was a lot of trim that we replaced. We could have reused the old, but I look at the cost benefit of cleaning up the old trim versus just slapping the new stuff on. So there's a couple things here and there. And keep in mind, we're not done. I see some touch-ups. I see a missing fire alarm. I don't see a carbon monoxide detector. There's some things we need to do, but this is good enough to sell or good enough to rent. And this has happened, actually. I have been showing a tenant a house and they say, well, hey, what would you do about a rent-to-own situation? And we make up a contract. I give them 2 years in that situation, 2 years to get their credit good and their down payment situated. And every month that they rented from me, they get $100 off the purchase price. How we determine purchase price, this is kind of my little trick. When we go to do the owner or the financing of it, the actual sale of the property, we do it at appraised value. That way, if it's 8 months from now, when they say, hey, we've saved up enough money, we want to purchase the property. Okay, let's get an appraiser out. How else do you make it fair? If they don't like my appraiser's number, let's get their appraiser's number. There will be a $15,000 difference between the two, but it all comes out in the wash. I want to make sure it's fair, and I want to make sure that they think that they're taken care of. So every month that they rented from me, up to 2 years, they get a $100 deduction off the sale price. So it's not much, but it's something. That way they know that at least some of their money goes back to them. And I've only had that happen one time. The other times we have gone down that road, and here we are 10 years later, almost 10 years, and they're still living in my house, which I'll take that as well. At some point, maybe they'll buy it, and I'll make $1 on the sale of the property, and I made $1 on the renting of it. So it all works out. We've had an issue with this step over the years. The carpet guys came by yesterday and these pieces fell off. Sam brought it to my attention. The reason they fell off is we're a 1/4 inch shallower here than we are here at the bottom. So if you can get in here, when this tile is up there, there's a gap. So what do? Guys, my answer is more goopy goop. So I don't know what type of glue they were using, but likely it wasn't meant to fill this gap. We have access to windshield urethane that will hold anything to anything. So chances are this will be held in by the same glue that holds the windshield in your car. Which is more important? I would say that windshield is. So this will be just fine. It will stick to anything. It will fill a gap. And this stuff, actually, Sam, you're going to hate me if you ever have to take this stuff off if we use windshield urethane, because it's going to be on there. So that's going to be the best fix on this. You could use like a liquid nail type material, maybe even put it up here and prop something up against it for the day. That's an idea, but I would not use the standard flooring glue. Now, I know it's not going to have a warranty, but we have an issue. Let's get it fixed. Guys, that is a wrap for the walkthrough. We have a list of things to get. Little things, smoke alarm, carbon monoxide detector, a little more mud for the tile. All in all, I am super happy with this walkthrough. The issues that I saw were just some really minor touch up, some, paint a couple light fixtures black. This is best case scenario. Nothing's dramatic. Nothing's do or die. He'll have this stuff done by Monday, and hopefully we have a renter on Tuesday. Guys, thanks for the views. If you can, drop us a like, drop a subscription, or subscribe. That's weird. Guys, keep up the hustle. That's what this is about. Catch you on the next one.